What's up, everybody? It's Ashley here with Ghost Gang, and I'm going to be interviewing our artist, Loach, over here. Say what's up.
What's up, world? It's your boy Loach, man. We just want to do an interview for you guys. We just dropped our latest EP, Mood Rings. So I think it'll be a good time to do an interview for you guys. Something we never done before as artists. And we just want to share our creative mind with you guys. So I hope you're ready, man. It's your boy Loach. Ghost Gang. Let's get started.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Mood Rings EP. First of all, talk about your shirt that you have on right now.
Okay.
Just came out with the Mood Rings apparel over here. So it's basically the cover of the EP, right? That's the front of it. Okay, yeah, that looks good. All right, turn around. We got the back. Come a little closer. So that represents the different rings, the moods that we are in, just always falling and circulating around. We gotta pick the right one. Pick the right mood we want to have today. Okay, so what inspired you to make the EP Mood Rings in the first place?
The Mood Rings EP came about after I made a couple songs. I just found a new studio, started working with my boy Snoozy. Shout out Snooze. But the first song that I made was the one Without You that I put on the EP. It's the third track. And I made that song just after a really hard time, after a heartbreak. Let's see how much details I want to get into, but I was in a very long-term relationship, and we ended it, and I was transitioning into a new phase of life, and I just wanted to express myself. I felt like I hadn't made music in a long time, and I just wanted to do something different. In the past, I've done R&B music before. It's more like a hip-hop R&B vibe. Mm-hmm. But this one was just emotionally charged. I think that's what makes it so special.
How to get those feelings out of your head, right? Put them on some paper. And then how did you choose the title Mood Rings? What made you want to pick that specific one?
Well, the title was actually inspired by the second song that I made entitled Mood Rings. On the song I said like Shawty having mood swings, she's switching colors like a mood ring, and it's just like how, like a mood ring. Like I remember as a kid, like we would play around with mood rings, cause it was just interesting. You put on the ring, and if you're feeling moody or if you're feeling like sad, right, it's gonna turn blue, or if you're feeling like excited, it's gonna turn like orange. I thought that was pretty cool. So I was moody. I was going through all the emotions of a breakup, and so I entitled it Mood Rings. Yeah,
I like it. Okay, and then give us a walkthrough on the creative process of creating an EP. I guess why did you put it in a certain order for a specific reason? Creating the cover, things like that. Go into detail, your creative process behind the whole thing.
Well, when I began making the project, I think it was in the summertime of 2021. I was just writing songs, honestly. That's usually my process. I'm just writing a bunch of songs. I believe the more songs you do, eventually you'll come up with a good song or a hit song. So the first one that I came up with was Without You, and I really felt the energy on that. It was whenever I would play it for different people, whether I'm going out to parties or something, or
I think that was one of the first songs you showed me.
Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah, whenever I was meeting new people, I would just play the song, and the energy, they was just like, oh my God, you're so good, you know, like this song is so good. And so I know when people get that immediate, you know, kind of feeling from it, I know that it's something special. So with that song, I tried to keep the same kind of vibe. So whenever I create, this is actually my first project. So I've created projects in the past, but this is my first one that I actually released. Usually when I create projects, like they never get released because I would change seasons in life, or I would change like my thought patterns so much that I would just end up scrapping it, because it's like, oh yeah, well I was only thinking about that like that at that time. And so I made this album 2021, and I don't know, I just wanted to keep it consistent with the whole vibey feel, R&B, hip hop. And then it was a point in time where I know it's 2023. I'm just putting it out. It was a point in time where, like I said, like I moved past this album. I felt like I didn't want to release it because, oh yeah, like, you know, I don't want to revisit these feelings, or I'm already past these thoughts. I'm already past what's going on. But I don't know. I kind of came at a point where I was like, you know what, like, forget what other people think, forget like what I think, even, like, you know, this song, my music not just for me, like my music is to touch people, to help people through hard situations, to help people have that soundtrack just to chill, or whatever you use it for, to go through that heartbreak maybe. But
do you feel like you were getting that feedback from people, that they were kind of resonating with the emotions that were put into the EP?
Definitely, yeah. I know, you know, I have friends that, you know, kind of went through the season of, you know, breaking up and heartbreak. And so it's nice to see it, like, you know, in person, to see how your life or what you went through can affect other people and help them go through it. But you know, it's so many people out there who haven't heard it or who haven't been touched with it yet. So, you know, it just the energy. I hope that the energy translates. You know, whether they be in Thailand or, you know, Canada, that, you know, that the same energy translates and it helps them.
I think the energy definitely does translate. I like how you ordered the songs, because it kind of tells a story, right? Like, you start off Wake Up Call, which is a song that we did together. I feel like that's a really emotional song too, because it's, you know, I think we both put a lot of vulnerability into the lyrics. Because I, you know, when I met him, I was going through the same thing too. Just dealing with a breakup and just trying to find yourself again, and like, you kind of look at it differently now that you have a little bit of time to move on. So yeah, I think that song really resonates with people, because we've all felt like, okay, you know, we need to wake up and realize it might have felt great in the moment, but really, like, how we feel now about it is probably how it really was. And then you did the Without You song. I think that was well done. Has a vibey feel, but also at the same time, people can understand the next phase of the healing. You know, like, you're kind of looking back on the relationship, or looking back on the past, and, you know, wishing maybe you could go back to it. Is it right? Is it wrong? You know, what if this was different? And then kind of going into a new phase is where you're like, okay, you know, I'm ready to what is it, mi armacita, like, I'm ready to find someone else and like take them to a new place. Maybe that's even like symbolizing yourself too, like taking yourself to a new place and getting out of those emotions. So I think you did. Yeah, I think you definitely put the vibe in the EP.
Yeah.
um, so which songs on Mood Rings do you feel most personally connected to, and why?
Definitely Without You. Like, that's, I know I talk about it a lot, but that's like one my favorite song, because even like the way I delivered it, I felt like it was like, I wasn't trying to be like sweet or anything, but it was just like, it was pain, you know, it was like pain in it. And I feel like it kind of comes out in my voice, and like the lyrics, of course. And then that and Mood Ring was really, I really felt that one, because, you know, it's more like kind of my style, kind of, it's the most like upbeat.
It's a catchy song.
Yeah, and it's catchy. And I don't know, I've been through relationships where, and with people that have been extremely moody, you know, and it's just like, oh wow, you know, like, that's a dislike. And I know if I went through it, then, you know, somebody else went through it. So I just, like, whenever I'm creating music like this, like, I just want to relate, you know, like, I'm a soul out here. Sometimes I feel like a lonely soul, but I just want to connect with people, you know.
That's all music's really about, connecting. Which actually, that goes into the next question is, what message do you hope listeners take away from your EP, and how do you hope that it resonates with their own experience? Which I guess we kind of went over that a little bit, but you can elaborate a little bit more.
Well, I hope they kind of like evolve, you know. I hope that you, as you listen to this project, you know, as you go through this pain with me, and go through, you know, the dark place, and coming out of the dark place, I hope that you evolve. I hope that the listener can get over their ex, you know, like get past it, like turn the page, ready to move on to the new phases of life.
Okay, so I have some more questions, not really based on the EP, but I guess around music in general and your artistry when creating music. So can you tell us about your journey as a music artist, from when you first started to where you are now, and what has been some of the biggest challenges you faced along the way?
So my early days of music, let's see. Well, it all started with the MacBook. No, with the MacBook. It was like a little white Mac. I think it was my stepmom's MacBook, but I don't know whose MacBook it was. Maybe my uncle's MacBook. Shout out to my family. It was one of my family members' MacBook. I just remember like opening up like GarageBand, like, and seeing my first like digital audio workstation, and playing around with instruments. And actually, you know what? It started before the MacBook. It started in middle school. I was always like in choir. Yeah, I was always like I would do choir. They would make us do choir. It was like part of the yeah. They would kind of. Yeah, they would kind of make us do choir. I really didn't care for it back then. I like singing. It was cool. I was always like wanting to join a choir or something. But I really like, it was cool. But then I started, my uncle, he was a rapper. His name was Loach. He was the first person I seen that was like a rapper, like in person, you know? And he had an album. He released a few albums actually. And I used to listen to his album, and I just felt like empowered, you know, because it's my last name on, you know, on the album, which was like, at that time, think like CDs, like a big thing. Yeah, like people had CD, like, you know, like it was like professionally printed out, you know, like he went to recording studios, like, you know, like he gave me my first mic ever, even though I couldn't really use it because I didn't have all the parts. But he just really inspired me to, you know, to make music and rap and stuff like that. So from there, he was the first person who, because I always listen to hip hop, you know. I always listen to like R&B, hip hop. My mom, she would listen to R&B, Mary J. Blige, stuff like that, Fantasia, you know. And my grandma, she listened to music, you know.
Musical family.
Yeah, musical family. They just like music. Church, you know, going to church. We sing hymns and stuff. So that's where the roots come from. But like my own personal was like with the MacBook when I first was able to actually record a song. Yeah, back in those days we had SoundCloud because I was trying to, you know, put my music on the internet somewhere where somebody can listen to it. So that's when SoundCloud was first like created. It's like 2012, you know.
And SoundCloud was really big too. Like there's a lot of
SoundCloud was a lot different back then too, because like SoundCloud, I remember SoundCloud, you can put yourself on like a playlist, right? So they would have like communities. They'll have like hip hop communities, like R&B communities, and you can put your song inside the community. Like I would put my song in certain communities and people would listen to it. You know, it was really like organic, you know, like at that time, I think one of the guys who I used to listen to back in the early days of SoundCloud was Chance the Rapper. Like he was one of the first SoundCloud rappers, like truly. And
he became pretty famous.
Yeah. But from there, I went to college. My parents bought me a microphone and a setup, but they wouldn't let me take it on my freshman year of college, which I was pissed about. I don't know why they didn't let me take it. They wanted me to focus on school. And so I got a job like a month into working, you know, going to school at Papa John's, and I flipped pizzas and saved enough money to buy myself some speakers. I started like producing. The second year they let me bring the mic, so that was good. And I bought a MacBook for myself, started going into my room, and I would sometimes like stay up late at night making songs just because I wanted people to listen to it, because I thought it was cool. I thought it was dope. At that time, I remember listening to Travis Scott. That's when he first came out. So he was another like SoundCloud, you know, rapper like earlier. But
how did your roommate feel about you making? Did you have a roommate? How did they feel about you?
Oh yeah, my roommates, they were actually pretty supportive. I have three other roommates, and two of them were supportive. One of them wasn't as supportive. He was more like into school and stuff. But I mean, I would just go to work, go to school, come home, make music. Like I wouldn't go to parties and nothing. Like I would, you know, every now and then, but like I would just focus on being a rapper, like, you know. And then that went on for a couple years. I moved to Dallas. Just because I want to go further into making music. I wanted to actually make a career out of doing music versus just being like locally known. And so I went to Dallas, started working with Iris. I made a good amount of songs there. Developed as an artist. They helped me develop my voice. Helped me develop like my R&B sound. I really didn't have an R&B sound before then. It was more like rap. So they helped me develop like more like my singing voice and stuff like that. And then so I moved to Houston after I had my daughter. And I put down music, honestly. I stopped doing music for about 2 or 3 years. And because I thought, you know, this is my path now, just being a dad and doing dad stuff and going to work and providing for my family. Yeah, but you could do both. So I think what really inspired me to get back into music like now, like so heavily, was that breakup, because I was trying to be, you know, somebody else that I wasn't. I mean, being a dad is cool. Like, you know, I have 2 kids now, but being a dad is great, but you don't have to like give up your dreams for it. So that's where I am now. I've been back in the game for about 2 years. And it was just like really just a reset, because in that period of me not doing music, I really like found Christ, and I started developing my relationship with Jesus. And so, yeah, now I'm still serving the Lord and making my music and being a good father. So you can do it all.
Okay. You don't have to give up your dreams to just a parent. I mean, I feel like being a parent, you definitely sacrifice a lot, but you can still follow your dreams. And people go to school, become nurses and doctors and lawyers, all at the same time with them having kids. So, what would you say your creative process is like when making music? Like, how do you go about the lyrical side, the beat making, things like that?
Well, I feel like my production comes in waves, so I get inspired to produce and I'll produce, but my passion is really for songwriting and for making lyrics and making a whole song. So I like to record with pre-made beats. I like to work with other producers, and I believe in collaboration. I feel like collaboration is what is missing from the music sphere today. Like, you have like at higher levels, like the guys who everybody listens to, like Drake or Lil Uzi or whatever, Travis Scott, whoever you listen to. If you will go and watch their documentaries of how they create, it's other people in the room, it's other musicians in the room, it's collaborative. But in the underground, people believe it's a DIY kind of mindset. Like, like I'm just solo, like I'm gonna make it in the house by myself. And I mean, that's cool. I make songs by myself, but I like to at some point collaborate with somebody, because I need new ears. I need new creativity, new perspective within my music, and that is really what helps me create the best music. But as far as like writing and stuff like that, I do write. I do punch in, freestyle. I use all the methods. I don't feel like one method is more superior than another. Like, when you write, like, you're gonna come up with different words that you wouldn't use like when you freestyle. When you freestyle, you come up with different like emotions that you wouldn't necessarily come up with, in different inflections that you wouldn't necessarily have if you were just writing. And then, like, I feel like punching in is just the best thing to do, like, with getting your time together. So,
what do you mean by punching in?
Punching in is like when you record just a small phrase and then stop it, and then you punch it in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely see you doing that. How would you say that process has evolved over time?
When I first began making music, I was heavily into writing music. So I have several thousands of songs written like in my iPhone, like in the notes. I always was like a digital writer. I'm not like a pen and paper writer, because I used to be pen and paper, but I lost all the raps. So it's just like, you got to keep track of it. You got to help your lead don't bleed or smudge, or you got to help your ink doesn't bleed through the paper. I'd rather just put it on the phone or put it somewhere digital. It's easier to save. But yeah, just write it down.
Okay. And then you talked about collaborating, and that you try to make sure you're collaborating with artists and producers. How do you go about finding people to collaborate, or like, is there a process that you look for, or like you look for a specific sound, or like just go to one specific producer?
Well, I feel like a lot of the collaborations that I've had so far have been like people that I met in person, like Derek. Derek I met in person. QD, I met them in person. Mercury, met him in person. Everybody who I Betrayal, everybody who I've collaborated with, I've met them in person. I actually like them as a person.
You gotta like them.
Yeah. I feel like if our energy match, then I'll collaborate. But it's just sometimes I have a hard time collaborating with people who I don't know, honestly. But I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm closed off to working with people who I haven't met. Oh, Sunshine, I haven't really met him in person, but
you guys collaborated.
Yeah, we collaborated.
Which is that's pretty. I think that's what's great about the internet too. I think that's what's great about the internet as well, is because you don't have to meet people in person. Yeah. Sometimes you can feed off their energy through the screen, and send collaborations through emails too, and it still works. It still creates a pretty nice relationship.
Yeah, I feel like it's 50-50 with the internet though. I just feel like as long as the energy is good, the mission is we're aligned on our mission, because I feel like if I have values within myself and then I make a song with somebody who doesn't share the same values, like I wouldn't want to release that song. Mm-hmm. Or like, say for example, like I believe in like monogamous relationships, or I believe in like Christ, like I wouldn't want to be on the track with somebody who like talking down on my beliefs or my values, right? So I feel like that's an important part of it too, because I honestly feel like what I'm making is more than music. It's like is influence, like I'm influencing people. Like some of my audience members are children. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I have parents listening. My music is for everybody. For all, I don't want to say for everybody, but for all ages, for like a wide variety of people. And once you know who you're talking to, like it helps you create your music, because it's just like, like I know what you're gonna like. Let me give you something that you want. I don't want to give you something that you don't want, or that's, like if I'm giving you some food, I'm gonna give you something that you already like, versus giving you something that I already know that you don't think tastes good. Yeah. So it's just like, it's the same thing. It's just like being on one page. Well,
you want to make sure like what the music you're putting out there, represents you. So if you're putting music out there that speaks of things that you don't live by, well, you might not live by those things, but people, because they listen to that song or they listen to your music, they're going to assume that that's what you live by, or like that's what you do. So, instead of just faking it, like might as well just put your real values out there.
And I honestly feel like it's too much energy being wasted on trying to be two people. Like, all right, like my brand is about like being authentic. Like when you think about Loach, or when you listen to Loach music, like I want to be authentic with you. Like I want to talk about where I am and talk about where I want to go, or talk about where I see myself going. I don't want to talk about a reality that I don't want to be in, or that I'm not in. Like if you heard me talk about something about being in the streets or something like that, like I'm not in the streets. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to be hard for nobody. Like I don't care, bro. Like my energy is just different. You know what I'm saying? Like it can get aggressive. Like yeah, I can get aggressive, but it's not like in the streets. Like it's not like I'm gonna kill somebody. Like no, I'm mad. I'm gonna rap about being mad, but I'm not gonna be rapping about killing somebody in my music just because I'm mad. Like that don't make no sense. And like, a lot of people that listen to our music, like what I said before, they're impressionable people. Like teenagers, I feel like when you have music and like you making music, like you should have responsibility over what you say. Like every thought, every word you should take captive. You know what I'm saying? Because you may say something like, for example, like Future, right? Like Future publicly said that he don't do any of the drugs that he talk about in his music, but he still rap about like doing drugs, and all the people that's listening to his music is like, oh, Future doing drugs, but they may have not even seen this interview where he said he don't do drugs. So they're just like, oh, I'm doing it because I want to be like Future, I want to be cool. So I'm just thinking about my future. Oh, people gonna want to be like Loach, or people want to be like Loach. So what am I about? Like, what am I spreading? Am I spreading love? Am I spreading being truthful? Am I spreading being yourself and not caring like what people think about you? Like, okay, well, let that be known in my music and not let me be somebody fake just to make money. That's like selling your soul.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, that's like selling a faulty product, pretty much too. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for your music career? Are there any specific projects or collaborations you're working on that you're particularly excited about?
Well, right now, I'm doing my YouTube live, so some of you guys are watching that, where I'm creating music on my YouTube page. So that's exciting because I love like how I said, collaboration. I just love like being around other people while I'm making music. So I have special guests on there. Me and QD really been in here cooking. Me and Derek been in here cooking. B-Trill, just bringing all the people, the same people back, and then expanding that universe, finding like-minded people. Where do I see my career going? I see myself like going like international, as far as like going on tours, international tours, national tours, like in the US. I see myself like just being like considered one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do anything halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want when people listen to my music, like, I want them to hear quality. Like, I want to put out the best product that I can put out there. So being the best as far as like my performance, being the best as far as like my songwriting, like even if like making hits for other people, like songwriting. I'm developing my engineering skills. So I mean, my biggest goal right now is just to expand the community and to go on tour. Like, I really just want to touch people and go to them in person and touch them in real life, not like physically, but you know what I'm saying, touch them from with my words. No quid pro quo.
Yeah, I think you definitely are gonna go far. I think it's just all about the passion you put into music, the passion you put into your dream, and not letting anything set you back. Because we all go through those moments where you might not feel motivated all the time to create, or what do they call it, like writer's block, or you get like, because we all have personal lives too, and sometimes we can get more focused on that than what we should be doing or what we want to be doing. So do you ever find yourself in that kind of situation? And when you do, what are some of the ways that you kind of transition back to focusing on music?
Well, I'm thinking about music constantly. Like, I'm always thinking about like a new riff or a new like cadence or something like that. But I just use life as inspiration, just like whatever I'm going through at the time. I know it can touch somebody. If it's powerful, if it's just something small, I know it can help somebody or touch somebody. So that's like, life is my music. So
I love that. Well, thank you for your interview, and I think we all learned a lot more about you and the music that you're creating and the person that is behind the music as well. So make sure you guys check out Mood Rings EPs on all streaming platforms. You'll hear a little bit from me on there, a lot from Loach, and enjoy the journey through learning about the difficulties and the ups and downs of relationships. You have anything else you want to say?
Go shop merch, ghostgangglobal.com. You can get the Mood Ring shirt here. Ashley got the Ghost Gang hoodie. This hat is actually unavailable right now. But the Ghost Gang hoodie is definitely very very well done. Yes, very high quality. Show them the back. Show them the back.
Very comfortable. Show you the back. We got it so close. See, we have to move the chair. The back.
Yes, we redesigned
Leave a legacy.
the merch. Build a legacy beyond the grave, guys.
Beyond the grave.
That's what we're about. Ghost Gang. So.
Guys.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Thank you for watching. It's your boy Loach.
And it's Ashley LeRae. Y'all, keep it real. Ghost Gang.
We out of here. Peace.
Bye.